Hello, hello, hello. I don't know why the iPad's not working all of a sudden. Hold on. I just had it set up. Let's see. Please work. Alright, there we go. Beautiful. Now it's working. I don't know why it does that. I have to reset it every single stream. Anywho, hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday. Sorry I wasn't here last week. Last minute had plans and was busy, so couldn't stream. I was taking a look at this earlier because I haven't looked at it in a couple weeks, so I have fresh eyes. And hello, hope you're doing well. I have fresh eyes, and I like actually a little bit of that pencil line showing through. Like, I think it looks good. Maybe not like this much, maybe not nothing. Because I think it adds a little flavor, the pencil, but I do want to clean it up. Is this the right layer? Yeah. I just like a little bit of that pencil line, so maybe I'll intentionally sketch on a layer on top with the pencil-y lines for like the bark on the tree and a little bit of the fur and stuff. But I like how that looks, actually, the like gray pencil layer on top. Hello, hello. I like how that looks. So maybe I'll start with that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll start with there. Start there, because it's on my mind. So I'll do that same sketchy brush, but I'll do it in like a pink, and then I'll change it to gray. But I like that gray little bit of texture going on with it. I don't know. So I'll do it with pink, and then I'll make it gray. Define some of these areas a little bit too, though I do want to make this like chest area a different color, maybe. Just make it a little easier to see what's going on with this guy without adding too many solid lines. Just like a subtle little something. And if you hear a beep in the background, that is my downstairs landlord's like smoke alarm or some kind of whatever, that the battery's low. I can hear it all the way upstairs and with noise canceling headphones on, so I hope the mic doesn't pick it up, but it's very annoying. It's been going all day. Hope it gets fixed soon. Alright. Let's add a little bit of definition to the nose here. And maybe just roughly add some sketchy sort of lines to this tree. I don't know what it is about the pencil layer, and maybe I'll just keep the pencil layer and then erase some stuff that's a little bit too, I don't know. Like, I hate the stuff in the ears. I don't like the look of that. But I like this right here, this texture here. I like this bit of texture on the tail. Maybe not here where it's super chunky. And I like these random lines down here. But I'd like them to make a little bit more sense with the flow of the tree and stuff. So just adding that in now in a new layer. And I might just leave the pencil layer where it is and then just lower the opacity a bit, erase some stuff I don't like. I think that might be a good move. I just like that when I was messing with a little bit before the stream, turned the layer off, and I was like, oh, it looks a little flat now without the pencils. I really like the gray and the blue, like up here with the orange, the peach. I don't know. I'm into whatever's happening with that. Unintentional, but I like it. Just wanted to get rid of the extra stuff. So I think I'll do that. Let me block this layer and make it gray. Maybe a darker mid-tone gray like that. Maybe even a little darker and warmer so you can actually see it. And then dark and warm up here, and then even darker on the middle part of the tree. We'll fix that in a second. Just don't want it to be pink. Maybe a little bit darker down here. Maybe a little bit more. There, I think that looks cool. And I might do a texture layer on top anyway, so it might all blend in. And also no makeup today, which the red, that's just my face. It looks so much more pronounced on the little OBS webcam thing than, like, I check my face in the webcam to make sure there's nothing in my teeth or whatever. But even on my regular webcam, it's not like bright red, but on OBS it's, I don't know, whatever. But if you were wondering if something happened to my face, no, it's just like that. Alright, let's duplicate the pencil layer. Let's mask it. And we'll use the mask to softly erase out the stuff I don't like with the pencil layer. So a lot of this extra stuff up here. I just like keeping that sketch there a little bit. I might do that a little more moving forward because sometimes I like the sketch more than the final thing. So, and I think for this it works because it's got kind of a warm, painterly kind of color palette going on. So I think it kind of works with this one. It just makes him look a little warmer and fuzzier to my eye with that bit in there. Like some's a little excess. Like this is kind of messy. So we'll just clean that up a little bit. So I like a little bit on the underside of his head here. Maybe not so much here. Maybe not so much here. I like the little bit here, the little sketchy bits there. Leave some of that sketchy rough stuff in. Just clean up. A little clean up and tidy up. And I can always bring it back because it's a mask, so I can unmask. I kind of like, actually, it's a little sketchy right here. I don't know if he's like under the head, but I kind of like that, though I do want to softly fade out like right here so it's not so chunky. I think that looks good. This chunkiness needs to go away over here. I think that's a little bit much, and it takes away from the highlight of this being like where the sun's hitting it, so we're gonna softly fade that out. I kind of like the texture of whatever's going on his little back leg. It kind of makes it look like fur from far out, so I'm going to leave that alone. Erase some of this down here by his foot. I kind of like, unintentionally, the bit that's on the top of his foot looks like a shadow from his leg a bit, so I'm just going to leave that alone. And then this, this leg was supposed to be a highlight here, but I think I want to change that to be a shadow, because it doesn't really make sense that it's white all the way around it. So I'm going to go mess with that really quick while I'm thinking about it, because I will forget and then go, wasn't there something else I wanted to do? So we'll make this a shadow. Maybe that's too dark, but we'll start there. Maybe we'll have it be light and then fade it to be a shadow. Maybe a little bit lighter. And darker as it goes down. I'm not crazy about how that looks, but it's better than having it be a highlight wrapped all the way around. So we'll start maybe here. Fade that a little bit here. My hair's falling in my eyes. Zoomed out. How do I feel about that? Let's do the thing where I check values to make sure I'm doing okay there. So let's do an all black layer and we set it to color. And it's all kind of one value except the tail and the eyes, so we're going to need to do something to fix that. Though I guess the highlight on the one side. But it's just like his cheek against the tree, we need a shadow there. We need some more shadows and things happening. And also it's not entirely clear what's happening with his back legs. I think I'm going to add like a hint of a shadow of one here and then maybe a shadow of one underneath. So let's mess with that with just values and then change the colors in a minute. We'll do it. Maybe not this dark. We'll do it a little bit lighter. A little bit darker. I want it to be darker than the tree, I think. So there's a hint of a little leggy behind him there, and a little hint of a foot here. I just don't want a bunch of details and a million toes and stuff, but so we can just hint at the other limbs. We don't need to draw them. At least I don't feel like it. It's just too many little toes. I think there's enough detail going on. Did I learn more facts about the critter I'm drawing? I did not. Feel free to spam me with Kakomistal facts. All I know is for a fact that he's very cute. That's all I have any knowledge of. Let's do a clipping mask here. I just want to fix the values a bit, so I'm just messing with shadows. Maybe have one over here. We'll change the color of this so it's not black when I turn the color back on, but, and maybe that's a little too pronounced, but just want a little bit of shadow. Maybe it wouldn't be that dark either, but just want you to be able to see him and understand him even zoomed out from a small size. You can kind of see what's going on. I might need maybe like a bright highlight on the tops of the ears or something like that to make that pop against the background on top, because it's kind of fading into that value of that blue sky there. What else can we do? We can do shadow under the foot on the actual tree as well. Where's the tree? Right here. There's already a clipping mask for highlights. Let's do one real quick for, say there's a shadow here under the foot. And another one under the tail down here. The tail is good because it's basically black and white, so it's got lots of contrast and you can see it. Have you drawn any lemurs or raccoons? I know I've drawn raccoons. I used to draw a lot of raccoons when I was a kid because I thought they were really cute with the little eye masks and their little hands. I don't know if I've ever drawn a lemur before. If I have, it was years ago for a client or something. Not entirely sure. I can't see one in my mind's eye when I think of if I've drawn one or not. I think we need to add more highlight to the left side of his body and his ears, especially like at the top of his head. That's just the tippy top of his head's just blending into the sky there. So we'll go fix that. What else can I do with shadow while I'm looking at it? I think that's better than it was. Like his head's a little bit more defined. There's some feet there. I think that's all right. So let's turn this off. No, we'll leave it on because we'll do highlights. Where's just his head? Down here? Okay, his ears. Maybe I'll do it on a layer on top. Let's try that. And we'll just do this shade of gray, and we'll change it later, but we'll do a little something up top on his ear. I didn't want to do something this stark, but I mean, whatever. I can blend it out too and soften it on the top of his head. I might do that in a sec. But I just want the sun to kind of hit him there the way it's hitting on the side of his body. It's times like these I wish I knew more about light and color, but I'm doing my best. I'm winging it. I just want you to be able to see his head against the background. That's my main concern. I think that's a lot better. Let's use that round render to soften it up here on the ear. I feel like I'm just winging it with art in general, but sometimes it works. Maybe I want to try softening all this up. We'll fix it at the top so it's actually lined up with the top of his head. Make this like a little patch of sunlight hitting his head. No, it was better before. No. Just a little bit of light. Let's try softening it by smudging it down a little bit. Maybe with the round render brush. Maybe that'll be nice. Nope. A little smaller. I just want to like fuzz this out a little bit, and maybe just deleting that darker pencil layer underneath will help. I just want to make this look nice and soft. I'm okay with it. Maybe if I softly erase the bottom edge of it, it'll feel right to me. It's better. Okay. That's better than it was. You can definitely see his head against the background now. It pops out a bit. And we'll add a little bit. I want to add a little more something right there. So we'll find where that is. Where's his butt highlight? Locate his butt highlight. Where on earth is the butt highlight? Am I crazy? Where's his tushy? Right here? Oh, it's all painted on the same layer. I see. Alright, well, we'll do a clipping mask. or will be on the clipping. I just want to bring it down a little bit, like here. And soften it up with the same brush. Something like that. That looks okay to me. And then I want to get rid of a little bit more of the pencil lines. The other layer, this one. On that mask, I want to paint and fix some of the tail. Like, I like some of the lines in the tail, but some of them are really thick and messy looking, and I'm not into it. I might add more texture with a pencil brush on a new layer, or that other one I started doing. Just these big chunky loops I'm not into on the tail. So we'll just tidy some of that up. I like some of the messiness on the edge of the tail there going off the canvas. I actually think that looks kind of cute. So I'll leave some of it, just a little hint of it. Just a teeny amount I'll leave. I'll erase some of this stuff on the tree I wasn't fond of. A little bit more up here. Fade this into the middle of the tree. Alright. I don't like on the very edge that it was like tons of pencil lines going off the canvas there. I think that looks a lot better. It looks clean. Guess what Dad made for dinner tonight? Well, it's not winter time, so it wouldn't be that Franco-American spaghetti stuff, which I was randomly thinking about earlier today, even though it's not the weather for it at all. Split pea soup with crackers on the side. I don't know why that was on my brain, the Franco-American spaghetti stuff. Summer is not the season for that, but it's very good. Alright. Why did I put this all... Alright, we're gonna drag this to the very top because it's our little color palette. And then I have to go fix the background because I don't know why I did it like that. Alright. You did split pea soupa with the crackers on the side? How was it? How is it if you're currently enjoying it? Yeah, it sounds good. Not too heavy for summer. We're gonna get rid of these little random patches of, I don't know what I was thinking of doing, like different tones of color, but I'm not crazy about them anymore. It looks like the ghost of petals that flew by, but like it's not convincing enough to look like petals, so we'll just leave it. I do want to do some different tones of different colors, like so it's not all blue, but maybe not as pink. Maybe just add like, I don't know, a little bit of green in here. Warm it up a little. I don't know. I'm just messing around with stuff. A little green up here. And I might lower the opacity of this whole layer too. I just want a little bit of color variety in here. Some purples. I don't want the sky to all be just one color of blue. Get some purple down here. Make this brush bigger. I get one of these guys. Let's clipping mask it to the layer. Do like a mauve-y brown down there. A little orange. Maybe I do a little bit more orange and yellow up here, where like it's sunnier. I don't know. I just want a little something something. It's like a whole rainbow of colors that are the same tone. And then we'll lower the opacity of that so it's really, really subtle. Just on normal. See, there's it with nothing. There's it with a little something. It just kind of, I don't know, softens it up or something. I'm just trying stuff out. Kind of into that. Maybe even a little bit less. Like there. I kind of like him the way he is. How are we feeling about him? Because I kind of Like, I had him as the thumbnail of the stream because I expected to work on him for a while, but I kind of like where he is. I don't know, he's charming me. We'll do some little nitpicky stuff to him. I just like how kind of unfinished he looks, and I don't want to overwork it and then think it's too polished, and I just like him. I'm fond of him. He's become my friend. You're bringing it over now. It's so good. I bet it's good. Make sure you get it with the crackers on the side, or else it's not the correct way to eat it. I hope you have the crackers on the side. Erase a little bit up there. What else can I do to enhance him without overworking it? Maybe a noise layer, maybe a color adjustment layer. I just like him. I like his little face. I kind of want to polish up his nose a little bit, and then, oh, the whites of his eyes should be pure white. I think that would be an improvement. I just don't want to do too much and then lose what I like about looking at him, you know? It's like when you work on a sketch and then you do the line art, you're missing something, you know? I just like him. We'll go fix that nose, clean it up. Where is the nose anyway? Right here? Yeah. Just tidy that up a bit. Let's use the sketch brush because it's kind of sharp but still fuzzy and soft. So we'll do that. Clean this up on top of the nose. I just think you look so cute. I like this little guy. Let's do a noise layer. Oh, and then I could work on that hedgehog, I guess, unless there's other obscure animals people would like to teach me about. Let's do a noise layer, because that always adds a little something. Maybe not that much. Maybe like right here. And hold on, I need to change my screen brightness a smidge. There we go. I don't know if that changed it for you guys, but for me, big difference. Okay, I'm gonna fix right here. That's bugging me. So let's go fix that. Oh, and the very bottom right edge going out a little, that's irritating me. So we're gonna fix that. Let's un-alpha lock it for just a moment. Turn off that noise layer real quick just so I can see what color. Just patch in this particular hole. I don't know why that was bugging me so much. There. That's better. And then clean up this edge. I said clean up this edge. Okay. And rough it up a little bit so it's not so straight. Okay, that looks good. It's okay that it's not even. I just hated that it flared out to the right a little bit. I think that looks better. Let's turn that noise back on. What else can we do? I like the tail as is. I don't want to mess with it. Like, I think he's cute. He's a cute little fella. There's something else I wanted to do looking over it. I can't think of what it is though. So I might just leave him alone. Let's do... Oh, I wanted to do a shadow like right under his chin because I hate that it connects to his chin right there. The highlight on the tree. So where's the tree branch? Right here. We'll do just a little a gray shadow of some kind. Or maybe just erase that highlight there. That might work as well. Alright, we'll do both. We'll do a soft little shadow under the head, and then we'll get rid of the highlight there. It's that white blending into that cream that's irritating me. Let's get rid of it with maybe a chalk brush. Just soften it up there. 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 Now it doesn't look like the highlight there and the chin is all like one line. Yeah, I like where he's at. Let's try, just for funsies, let's try like a texture layer or something. Let's just mess around with some strokes with this chalk brush, see if we can add some grit and texture, maybe. And then we'll do it as an overlay or something. Maybe a color adjustment layer. Just add a little something. I just don't want it to look too clean, I think is my whole thing. Trying to get away from clean, polished stuff, even though I've been good at it. Just rough it up a little bit. Taking what I've been doing with my 2 abstract paintings I've done and bringing it into the kind of stuff I draw here on stream. Let's try that. Let's see how that looks. I kind of like it in the background. That little scratch on the left I like. It's real subtle though. Maybe like right here. I dig that. And then let's, for funsies, let's do some colors. I want to bring maybe some more of that peach in. Peach and a little bit orange up here. Maybe a little more of that gray blue, but make it a little sky blue maybe. And then maybe a little bit more greenish and grayish down at the bottom. And let's just see if we play with the color modes. Let's see if we get anything interesting happening, or if it's just ugly, in which case we can just turn it off. Alright, let's set it to like half. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Color luminosity. Let's see. It's super dark, but I kind of like what it's doing for the colors there. Like just a little bit like that. I actually dig that. It's a little darker than I imagined going in, but I'm kind of about it. Yeah, I kind of like that. On my end, it's even a little bit darker and more brown than that, but I dig him. I think he looks super cute. I'm happy with this little fella. It's just a kind of quick thing. I do want to get rid of this chunky line inside the ear here. That one right there on the right. Like a National Geographic. Yeah, like I'm into the earthy coffee colors. That's my whole shtick this year, so I think that's a good color palette. I like it. And he's a different type of animal than what I normally do, because I'd never heard of him until somebody suggested him, so yeah, I think I'm about that. I think I'll call him done, and then we'll move on to that hedgehog. Maybe I'll take some of my lessons from this into the hedgehog picture and loosen him up a little bit and warm him up a little bit. But I like him. I think he's a little cutie. So we're going to call him finished. I'll put my little signature on it later. I don't need to do it now. And I'll post him after the stream. And then let's go into the hedgehog with the same kind of mindset. Maybe I'll even like take a screenshot. Or like just, here, I'll duplicate it and flatten it and then bring it over. Duplicate. Let's flatten the whole picture, shall we? Not like that. Girl, why won't it let me just want to flatten everything. Not like that. Let's see. Groups at a time. Okay. Beautiful. There we go. Alright. We'll copy this guy and bring him over to this hedgehog picture, which we're going for a little bit more crisp, lineless style, but maybe we can shake that up. I like the textures and the warmth going on, so we're just going to have him as our little muse up there. Let's think about what's going on in this picture. Alright, so we have a little croissant and a cookie we want to do. Some kind of something happening in the background, maybe a chair at a table, and keep it really loose. I've been really inspired by, I don't know how to describe it, like, I guess like kids' artwork, like crude, like loose lines and things. Kind of stuff I like doing in my abstract art, so maybe I just get really loose with it. I find like a kid-like crayon brush and do it real loose and then just barely clean it up from on top of that. I've seen people draw with like oil pastels and they'll do very like kid-like drawings. I'm just gonna use this brush, but like if they were drawing a chair, it would be like very intuitive with like the back of the chair, and they're not worried about the angles of things being correct. Like it's very like, you know, I don't know, simplified and cutesy. So maybe go into it with that kind of thing. And then this was what I was struggling with last stream, was doing a texture of the hedgehog I like. So maybe if I get really loose and like crayon-like with it, I'm just using the chalk for an example, but if I just do like zigzags and make it really like silly, I already like that better than what I was doing last stream, to be honest. It looks a little lion's mane-y, but just loosen up a bit. And maybe I just like ignore all these layers underneath and I do a new thing on top. Actually, I might do that. We're gonna duplicate before I make a mistake and I regret it. But maybe I go in with the whole philosophy of it being like that and loose, you know? So let's just smash all this together and we'll start fresh. We'll use this as like an under drawing. Just want to loosen up a bit. So maybe I'll use the chalk brush. I actually like that. Let's see what other like crayon-like brushes I have, or like, I don't know, loosey-goosey. That's an okay brush. I want something that's more like textured, messy. That's okay, but soft, textured, messy. I might just stick with that chalk brush, to be honest. But let me just poke around. I never mess with these brushes, so. Textures, materials. No, that's not what we want. Charcoal? Nah. Sketching. Artist crayon. Ooh, I kind of like that for like solid areas. That might be kind of fun. For like the table. Just block it in real messy with that. Let's just try something like that. And we can always change the colors later. So I'm just going to use whatever color I feel like. We're just going to use my intuition and then clean it up and find something out of the mess. That's what I've been doing with my paintings. I'll start with just like whatever feels right, whatever colors feel right, whatever textures feel right, and then I find a painting in the mess. So instead of going in with a structure and a plan like I normally do, let's just try something different, just to see how it goes. It could be a total disaster and then I just go back to the first one, but let's just try. Maybe we'll do a variety of brushes, so maybe not just artist crayon, but artist crayon and maybe a pencil. Maybe not like that. Or maybe like that. I don't know. You know what would actually help is I need a photo of like a cafe to look at for the colors. Hold up a sec. Let me... And I can get this guy off the screen. Goodbye. Let's get rid of him. And then let's real quick find like a cute, cozy, warm cafe interior. I like the colors in that. So many of these that look AI generated, which is kind of killing the vibe a little bit. Maybe I'll look up like Global Village Coffee House interior. Because some of those have like oranges and browns and reds, so it's not so one note and flat. A little more whimsical. Who doesn't love a bit of 90s nostalgia? Ooh, I like the color palette here too, even though it is very monotone. Just need one good picture. One good picture. Ooh, that's got like purples and blues in it too. the early Starbucks color palette with like purple, orange, and red and brown. That's kind of cute. Alright, I'm gonna decide in the next like 30 seconds and we're just gonna roll with whatever I get. Maybe I will take just that picture of early Starbucks. Ooh, this is about right. It's got red, brown, a little bit of yellow. It's such a low-res picture, but the colors are speaking to me. It's like a 100 by 100 pixel picture. Why is it so small? Can somebody please give me a bigger version of this? Okay, Instagram slideshows, thank you. Okay, so I like the old Starbucks coffee bag. That's a good vibe. And then this color palette. Little hint of purple, there's reds, there's browns. And then the shapes. Ooh, I like that too. Alright, I'm gonna get 3 pictures and then put them on the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing, because right now it's very boring for you. Alright, Global Village Coffee House color palette. That's enough pictures. Let's bring these in so you guys have something to look at. That's not just a mess. Okay. Upload. Desktop. First, this very warm color palette. These bags. I just yoinked these all from a Global Village Coffee House aesthetic Instagram post slideshow. Let's do... This is what I was looking at with, like, I like the brown, I like the texture on the wall there, how it's kind of like sponged on a little bit. The red with like the spotlight on the table I really like, and I like that kind of goofy, like the little bit of purple triangles and stuff and the weird shapes up there. So maybe the red table is the thing I take from that one with the highlight, the spotlight on it. So actually, let me, can I bring this to front? How do I move to top? There we go. I want to take the red table and the brown wall. So we're going to scooch that there, and then room for one more picture. Browse. This line style and how loosey-goosey it is, very nostalgic, and I won't be doing the exact same thing because it's kind of giving clip art, but I like it too, you know? It's nostalgic, it's warm and fuzzy. This is the kind of feeling I want to evoke, even if not directly, like, copying that style. I dig it. So, with that info, or inspo, rather. I guess it is info, too. It's visual information. Okay, I do have my music playing. I thought for some reason I didn't. Okay, cool. We're good. Now let me pull these up full screen on my end for me to actually see the colors a little bit better. I think color-wise, I like the warmth of the bag picture, but maybe not that saturated. So something in the middle. I like the reds, the golds, the little hints of purple. Because it's so easy to go, well, it's just brown, so you just slap on brown. But no, there's a lot of colors happening there. Dark greens, even. Alright. Alright. Pull these all up on my end and then move OBS so I can see what you guys see and I can still read the chat. It's a very delicate operation on a laptop screen. I do not have a dual monitor setup, so screen real estate is limited. Alright. Let's get to it. Alright, so thinking about color now, I like that dark red, so maybe I'll tint this dark red. Let's see what I can do with just messing with color balance. Okay, we made it more red. Let's make it darker, less saturated, like that cherry red. I like that color. So we'll start there and fill this in with maybe a variety of dark reds and purples. And that can be our deliciously wooden table. And we'll keep it really rough to start. We're not going to put much thought into the shapes of things or making them look good. Consider it like the underpainting, even though there's already an underpainting. That was like the sketch, and then this is like the underpainting. And we'll make it better on top. A little bit like that. And then if if he's got a light on him, there would be a darker shadow underneath him. So maybe it would be a little bit cooler and purple underneath him. Just thinking about this ahead of time. And then maybe brighter red around the edges where like light, overhead light would be hitting the edge of the table. Like that, something like that. And we'll polish up the edge of the table a little bit. Alright, we'll clean that up a little more later. But I like that. I like this color palette already that's forming here. Just by kind of slapping down colors. Alright, we'll hide the table for now. Let me think about the cup. What color should the cup be? Let's see. Maybe like a golden, like a cream golden kind of tone. Like a white coffee cup, but a little more interesting than white. So let's start with maybe this kind of tone. Let's just start here. Can always fix it later. I like this chunky 6B pencil, and we'll make the shape nice and uneven and funky. And we can go in and carve it out later and make it a little more precise. But for right now, that's okay. Maybe that's a little too yellow. So let me just alpha lock it and do a little something cream color in here. A little bit of pink, maybe. I don't know if I like that. A little more orange. Maybe mess it around with my favorite Nico roll brush. I want to get a little... I want it to look smooth, but not too smooth, because I want the surface to look like a coffee mug, but still have a little bit of texture, so I think this brush actually works well, the 6B pencil. I don't know if that would be the shadow color, though. Let me think. We want it a little bit cooler. So like maybe like that. Maybe like here. Oh, that's a little too cool. Something like that. And maybe we had a little swirly thing on the cup before, so maybe I'll do that as a clipping mask. Just start with this color and this loose of a swirl. Maybe I get really funky with the swirls and I do that chalk brush, because I want some of that texture that's on that that bag design with that guy. Or the lines there are kind of like, they're clean and then the shadows are really dark and cross-hatched. I don't know if I necessarily want to copy that, but I like what it's going for. Oh, that's already kind of a cool start the way it is there. And then maybe clean it up with the chalk brush a bit. Just keeping it real loose and funky. It doesn't matter how high these lines go up. It's not like beautiful already, but I kind of like how free and not concerned with it making everything look clean this is so far. So I usually just block in very clean shapes. So this is a little bit different for me. Alright, I kind of want to erase this bit here, but with the chalk brush. And I want these to be a variety of colors and not just this gold. Maybe a little bit of red. A little bit of red, a little bit of orange. Alright, we'll start there. Can always fix it later. This is just kind of to get an idea. That's a little too brown. Let's bring in more of that table color a little bit of that red. Maybe brighter red. Pop of that in there. Maybe more of a golden color like that. Not crazy about that on the edge. Alright, that's at least legible against the table, that orange against the red. Let's get a nice bright version of that for like in the middle of it. Okay, there's something happening there. It's alright. Now, next layer, we're not going to spend too long agonizing on each layer, because I'm trying to loosen up. So let's do the tea or coffee or hot chocolate or whatever beverage to make that a nice, dark, warm color. And not too worried about it looking perfectly clean. Do that, alpha lock it, make it even a little bit darker on the inside, like that, maybe smoother, so we want some of that liquid feeling to it. I don't know. A little bit of purple in there even. Make it really dark. Ooh, that looks so dark. I kind of like how the cream color was kind of showing when it was like not as like that. So maybe we'll bring some of that in. Maybe not as yellow. Maybe a little bit more peach. Bring in some of that peach from our peachy little friend up here. Literally just sample that. That looks so bright compared. Yeesh. Let's tone that down a little bit. I just blend it around. Don't know how I feel about the cup color still, but we can come back to it. Let's do the handle. On a layer underneath. Hide that table again. And I want this to be a little funky and chunky. So let's just take... Well, you won't really be able to see that against the table so well, that red. So maybe we'll take this cream color, this whatever. I already like the shape of that. I might just leave that, but take off just a little bit of the excess here. And then a little bit here. Kind of like that the way it is, to be honest. Maybe not the color, but the shape, I like that. So we're going to leave that alone and move on to the next thing. The hedgehog is going to be the hard thing. Let me think of the things in the background, because I was struggling with that too. Not the window. We'll do the window because it's pretty straightforward. It's just a window. And we'll just start with a brown frame first. Real basic. We can bring... Excuse me, I don't know why I'm hiccuping so much. We can bring some of that blue in outside because I wanted it to be rainy. It'll be really gray blue though. But I think that'll work. Bring in some of that color. Let's bring some of that color in now actually. Let's see. We'll start with blue, but I want to make it grayer because this is like obnoxious. This is too saturated for what I'm doing here. Alpha lock. Make it really desaturated. Just get a bunch of different grayish desaturated blues in here. Maybe look up a rainy window real quick. Rainy cafe window. I want it to be light enough outside that you can see like the raindrops. Ooh, it'd be kind of cool to have it frosted because that reminds me of Edinburgh where it was very frosted and there was like trails of tears. Not the Trail of Tears, but you know what I mean. Trails of like streaky, not tears, water drops. Oh my gosh, my brain just like short circuited. Sorry, not that. Trails of water droplets, raindrops. God, my brain just like malfunctioned entirely. So we'll make it kind of foggy looking and then have a few like clear, like that, like drops like that, you know? You know the vibe. Maybe make this a little bit lighter. I want it to be a little bit earlier in the day. Like that, maybe? Maybe keep it dark. And then like a hint of, I don't know, some kind of building or something, or street. So maybe a little darker here. Some kind of fence or wall or something outside. Doesn't need to be real detailed or defined. Just doing an idea. And then what we can do, let's think. We want it to be clear, and then we want a foggy layer on top, and then erase the foggy layer to make the water drops, the raindrops. Raindrops. Why could I was thinking tears? Why was I saying tears? Anyway. Oh my gosh. Alright, so this is the quote-unquote clear layer, so maybe we'll make this a little bit more defined. Here's a road. Here's the photo I'm looking at, just has like a brick wall or something outside, so maybe we'll just copy that. There's some kind of structure out here. Some kind of wall, maybe some kind of, I don't know, roof over here. Building across the street. A little hint of a tree or something out the window. Makes it so much darker, but that's okay. A little something out the window. And we'll do a layer on top, clipping mask, and we'll make it all kind of one grayish tone and lighter. And this is like the condensation, foggy, whatever on top. I like it with that texture actually, without even having to mess with it too much. And then we'll do a mask and use, let's do round render. Let's just see how it goes. Let's do a couple streaks down the window like that. That looks so cool. We're gonna get rid of our little muse here for a second. A few raindrops here. Not tears, raindrops. Easy peasy. And then a couple are like actual drops in here too. But I don't want it to be too photorealistic. That's the thing, is like, I want it to still be cartoony, so I'm gonna simplify quite a bit, but raining here and we really needed it. I got some this morning, I think. You know what's a motif is I like doing spirals lately. Like my signature I want to do with like a spiral for the eye on Alyssa Aaron. So I'm going to work some spirals into, like hidden into pictures I work on that I want to do on my portfolio, you know? So we'll do some little spirals on the window instead of just straight up circles. Maybe with a different brush. I don't know if I like how smooth that brush is. I want a little something. Let's do like a sketch render. It's got a little bit of texture to it. I want to keep them real loosey-goosey too. I don't know why, but I've been when I've been sketching outside of stream, I add spirals to stuff lately. I don't know why that's my thing. I guess it is a little nostalgic. It's a little Global Village Coffee House too. There was a lot more like funky spirals and things on things in the 90s, I think. Maybe that's where I picked it up from. But I like it, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Doing things just because I like them and it's intuitive versus overthinking. Alright, the window frame looking awful aside, I like the rain. I think that's looking cool. So we're going to leave that alone, the rain. we're gonna come back to this window frame real quick. I want to clean this up a little bit. And then add a layer on the inside of the frame to make it a little bit more 3D. Because right now it's just kind of flat. Which I guess kind of works with that art style on the bag there, but maybe I want to try something else. So I like the crude, childlike nature of it, but it's like too simple, you know? There's the line. You want it to look like on purpose. So maybe shape like this. I think it'll look better with different tones and textures on the inside of it too. But let's try like this. I just want to add a little bit of a 3D underneath. Maybe make it a little more purple. Like the underside of things here. There, that made it a little bit more real and solid looking. Okay, and then maybe if I bring a different color to this wood and add a little texture, maybe it'll brighten it up a little. Something like this, perhaps. I just don't want to overwork anything or make it too 3D looking. I don't know how to describe what I'm going for, but same with like the rain. I feel like I should not clean it up. That's the wrong word. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking, but make it a little more wobbly like that, maybe. Is that too much? That's too much. Just leave it alone for right now. We'll come back. Maybe we just get the rough stuff done today and come back to think about it another day. All right, the coffee cup stuff I want to put all in one group so I can easily turn it off and hide it and come back. Now this should be a clipping mask, and then I can hide it. Same with the window stuff, I think should all be in one layer, or in one group rather. Turn it off. Add the last rain layer to that group. So, okay, turn off, and we'll put it above the table layer. Doesn't really matter, but erase this extra stuff. Even though the coffee cup's gonna cover it, it just is bugging me, so we're gonna erase that. We'll come back to that later. Let's think, actually, while we have everything turned on, what color the wall should be, the background. Let's bring this all full opacity, and let's think about what color it should be. I like the spongy kind of texture on that brown wall on the photo that's inspo, but I don't know about going that dark. But let's start with like a neutral gray, and then warm it up from there. Darken it, whatever. Add some reds, you know. Bean says perfect to what, the rain, or? Just curious. I like her opinion on things. I appreciate her feedback. I think there should be more color involved. Let me look at the colors that are going on that Starbucks picture. Maybe a little more yellowy up top. A little more brown in the middle, and then maybe gray, maybe grayer, cooler closer to the window, because it's, you know, there's some of that color from the rain bouncing on the wall here. That light coming in. Yeah. Do like a blue-gray right there. And maybe... I don't know. I'm just messing around with colors so I like it, to be honest. Trying to loosen up in general. Ooh, I kind of like that, the orange and the blue. I'm kind of feeling that. Maybe a little more saturated, a little pop of some red or something in there. A little darker, pinker down here. Don't know if I like that pink. Just keep it real neutral. And then I kind of want to add a texture. Something kind of spongy, because sponge walls were all the rage early 2000s. I guess it's kind of a period piece, or it's inspired by that period. Let's do something kind of spongy. Let's try this. No, that doesn't really translate to sponge, because it kind of... Oh, if you do that, it does. I'm going to do a little spongy wall. Like that. And then set it to overlay. Not that dark, though. Like that. Real subtle. Maybe like right here. I think that's okay. Oh, it's so dark and moody already in this little cafe that we're creating here. Let's get this hedgehog. Or no, let's think of other background things. Right, so if the window's that close, there's not going to be room for a whole lot. But let me just think of something. I'll even use the same gouache brush. If there's like a little... Well, this window, maybe... This is like right up against... The window's not that close. The window's far away because we're getting a close-up on a table. The perspective doesn't have to make that much sense, right? Like, it's just a picture. It's not that serious, but... Or... Oh, I could eliminate a lot of things I don't like about the window by doing this. By making it one big panel, and then it makes sense that this table is up against the wall. And then we can do, like, right on the wall, there can be some wall art or something. I think that solves some of my dilemmas with the window. Maybe we extend... Yeah, we're going to extend the rain all the way down here. I think I like that better. I do. I like that a lot better. Maybe we'll move the window over a little bit. No, because then it'll be like halfway in the middle and that'll look silly. Alright. Improving. Because it kind of didn't make sense that the window was both close and far away like this. So we're choosing to make the window close and right up against this table, which eliminates some thinking. But we're going to make the frame of the window thicker. How thick would that be? Like a cup of coffee? How thick is the frame of my window? Mine's like real old, so... Mine's like about the width of a coffee mug. So if the coffee cup is like that wide. And my window is a little old-timey and old school, so it doesn't need to be that thick. Maybe something like this. And the hedgehog is going to be like here, you know, covering up a lot of this. So I don't think it matters that much. But I want it to make some kind of sense. Alright, this can be all solid wood here. And then this rain, we're just gonna stretch all this and bring it down. Where's that tree? There. There, love that. Okay, okay, okay. I don't think the window frame has to be that thick. It's fine. All this, stretch that out. Okay. I guess the rain would be a little bigger. The rain would be a little bigger. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. I don't know what's going on. If it's that close. So bring that up close here. Mask all the rest of this out. There we go. And we'll bring back, where's that round render brush? Where's that picture of the rain that I just had up? Yeah, the rain trail, we want a big fat one going all the way down, I think. I want a couple of them real wiggly going all the way down. And a couple little spirals, just cause it's cute. Instead of droplets, maybe a couple droplets too, to help sell that it's rain, you know. Though I think the color palette makes it look pretty rainy. We might even lower the opacity of this a little bit. Maybe brighten it up a little at the top. Or like make it a little whiter. Like that. That looks pretty rainy to me. We want maybe more of a hint of a tree in the background or something. Maybe even darker. Not that dark. A little bit darker. Some kind of hint of stuff happening in the window. Or outside. The implied outside. There we go. There's something happening out there. I don't know what, but something. Alright. Alright, this wood window. We don't have to put too much thought into how this looks because the hedgehog's going to cover most of it. But I do want to get something resembling wood grain on there, so we'll just do that for right now. Some with this cheeky chalk brush. Maybe something like that. It's a little messy with like 3 colors, but I don't hate it either. It's a little dark perhaps. That looks wood to me, so we're just gonna leave it alone. I don't want to think too much about it. We'll come back to it. Next thing, actually take this group away. Hide this. Where's the coffee cup? Hide that. Where's the hedgehog sketch at? Did I like delete it? No, it's here. We'll bring the hedgehog sketch up here. Just so I can see what I'm doing. Alright. The hedgehog. The hedgehog himself. We'll keep him pink for right now. Let's do his little feet. I kind of like drawing with this chalk brush. We'll see how I feel about it in a minute, but I like how loose it forces me to be. Because it makes these nice uneven edges. So I love the shape of that where it's like slightly pointy at the top of the toe. Like that kind of stuff just happens accidentally with this brush. And I like that. So there's foot number 2. His little peats. We'll make them like brown or something. Whatever. Nice shadow going. The bottom of his foot. We'll just leave it like that for now. We'll do the head. We'll also make it pink for now. We can change the color if we feel like it later. I'm following the shape I left, but not too closely. Something like that. Nah, I want to fill it in by hand, because then you get these nice little areas that are not totally filled in, which I like, because it adds a little bit of texture in there. Texture, we want texture and variety in things. Want a little grit. So you get these nice little spots in here that are not perfectly filled in. It takes away that digital look, I feel like. So I'm trying to move away from it feeling digital, even if it is. And it could look like a mess at the end. We'll see. It's just experimenting. You gotta just try stuff, you know? You gotta just try stuff out. Oh, I got a screen time limit on my computer for YouTube. I was like, wait, why can't I see the chat? It's like, you've reached your screen time limit. I've been setting limits to not be on the computer as much, though I have to be for work. But it's funny that you can just hit ignore, like, Because some nights I'm in bed, it's like, you've hit your time limit for TikTok. And it's like, let's just ignore it. Yes, I have been on it too much. But I'm gonna ignore it. Let's do the spikes. And I kind of like what I did earlier, where I just accidentally did, you know, a shape like that. Though I don't want it to look that messy. I want it to be somewhere between polished individual spikes and a total mess. So let's just try a few times and see which one works. So, zigzag. Okay, I hate the looping, but let's try back and forth. Okay, that's an okay start. I think I can polish this without making it look too overdone. So I like that he looks a little crazy. He needs to relax, that's why he's in the hot chocolate cafe spa thing. He needed to unwind. I like this little bit of texture, this like gap here in this spike. I like that. We can always come back and rework the spikes a little bit more later, but I'm liking the little gaps in the spikes and things like that, though this right up against the head is not going to work for me, so push that out a little bit. There is a scalp underneath here somewhere, so I have to take that into account and fill out close to the scalp. Okay, I'm not as crazy about the ones on the right side, but we'll finesse them for a second, and then I can always come back. This stream might just be getting the rough pass of everything done, you know? Figuring out the colors and the mood more than the perfect final picture. I don't know why I'm hiccuping so much today. I can't speak, hiccuping. Never mind all that. Why can't I see his face? I have to keep... Because I kind of like the face I drew. I want to keep that, not intact, but the essence of it. Because I like his happy eyes. His happy, relaxed eyes. I like how wide his face is and how far apart the eyes are. There's a lot I like from the original sketch I want to keep in there. I like his little nosy right here. And then his smile. I don't know if I want to draw this with the chalk brush as well, but we're going to try drawing everything with the chalk brush and then we can clean it up later. But I like the texture it gives. Ooh, I kind of like how it comes to a point there on his smile. Oh, I like that. He looks like a chipper little guy. Cheeky chappy. Happy eyebrow, or maybe he should look relieved. Nah, then it looks like he's like peeing in the cocoa. We want him relaxed. We don't want him that relaxed. Maybe like super happy eyes. Maybe that's too high. Yeah, the eyebrows are too high up. Like here. Like here. And imagine if there's like, yeah, if there's an eye here. Alright, that works. I might even do with color, like an eye mask to suggest a little more definition. Just with like a chalk brush or something to keep it real loose. That, I think his little like a forehead thing is a little bit too high up, so we're gonna take that in if I can figure out what I'm doing here. Why is this like 2 layers? What's happening here? Oh, it's because I'm looking at the sketch underneath, so let's get rid of that for now. Let's clean this up a smidge. Take in this mask a bit. Make sure it matches up on both sides about where the cheeks are. Though I do want to pull this cheek out just a little bit. Like that. Ooh, that's gonna mess up the whole thing. Okay, let's not do that. It's because it's on low opacity. Now if we do it, it won't mess it up as much. I'll still have to repaint that little bit in, but that's okay. Or I'll just take the chalk brush and draw it myself. That's alright. I just want him to have happy, uplifted cheeks and maybe round him out just a little bit because he's a happy little guy. There we go. Happy little hedgehog. We'll do his chubby little arm on a new layer. We're just going to make it white right now so I can see it. We'll fix it in a bit. But we want him to have a nice chunky arm. Chunky, chunky arm. And a little paw. And then he's got another arm hanging out the outside of the cup. Is that underneath the foot and his head? Okay, that one has to be on top of his head. This one has to be underneath his head. Yeah. We have enough layers for this. We have the technology. There we go. Happy Chappy in his little cup. Alright. And then his little feet. We're going to erase the bottom. So it's actually sunk into that coffee, hot chocolate, whatever. Happy bathing hedgehog. His head spikes, I'm going to just hit it with the distort tool and just scooch them over a little bit this way. I actually kind of like the shape of them. Like, they're uneven and they're silly. There's some on the right that I want to polish up a bit, but I like this big one here. And I love the ones on the left. I'm not going to mess with them too much. There's like this stumpy one that's kind of irritating me a little bit on the end here, but otherwise I like them. Like, they're uneven and they're kind of funky, but maybe, you know, I'm going to cheat. I don't like these ones on the right, so I'm just going to yoink them. And I'm just going to take the ones on the left that I do like and duplicate, flip. It's my own drawing. It's not cheating if it's my own drawing. That's better. And then fix that the ends are not squared off like that. Have them be a bit more pointy. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I want to fix right here. This section is kind of messy, so we're going to make that so it looks like 2 spikes and not 2.5 weird spikes. Okay, I like that. Fix this one so it's not abruptly ending weirdly there. Alright, it looks a little silly, but I like that, you know, he looks like a hedgehog. It looks like a spiky hedgehog. If it's silly but it works, then it's not silly. Well, it can still be silly, but it works. Yeah, it didn't look, it didn't look like he was peeing. If you give him like the relieved eyebrows, it looks like he's relieving himself in the hot cocoa. We don't want that. We want him relaxing in the hot cocoa. All right, let me think what kind of wall art or pastries, or you know what? Forget the wall art. We can keep it real minimal. I like those like hanging lights, so maybe we could have just a beam of light coming down from the wall. And then we can have some of that lighting up the left side of the hedgehog, and then the right side can be like the rainy, outdoor moody lighting. I think that might work, because then you get a little bit of orange from like a pendant light, and then you get the blue from the rain, so you get a couple nice colors going on there. But what was I thinking of first? Let me figure out what I want to do with the food. I think I want the plates to be red. So let's start there. I like these funky shapes I had before, so we're going to keep kind of that thing. And square it off a little bit. I think that still reads as plate. This one will be a little bit more rounded. Like that. And then we can think, what do we want on the plates? I want a croissant on one of them. Maybe a cookie on the other one. A croissant illustration. Okay. I have visuals of croissants. Let's think. Let me start with just a golden brown. We can change it in a minute. But I want it to be this nice crescent and chunky and kind of funky like that. I like that already, actually. The shape of that is very pleasing to me. With the squared off ends. It kind of looks like a banana a little bit. I like that it's going off the canvas and it's kind of weird. Maybe pull it in just a smidge like that. And then let's do a clipping mask and just try like, you know, the alternating layers here to make it look a little more croissant-y. I might do different colors on the layers, but I think that looks like, you know, 5 pieces of croissant. I don't think the colors are working, but that's okay. I like the shape. We're worried about the shape. Let's leave the shape alone. Let's think about what other treat we could put on the plate. Let's see. Coffee shop treat. Do a muffin or something. Could do... I don't want to do another bread. And I don't want to do another drink because I want his drink to be like the only drink. Could do a donut. Donut's cute. Chocolate chip cookie. A cookie with a bite taken out of it. Yeah, I think a cookie. We'll do chocolate chip because then I can do some nice thick chocolatey chunks. We'll do like the square hunks of chocolate with maybe like sea salt on top or something fancy schmancy. We'll do like one of those good cookies that you pay like $8 for, but it's worth it, you know? A bite taken out of it because it's so good. We'll make it big and chunky. That looks huge. That's a huge cookie. Maybe not that big. Yeah, we want it like this big and still on the plate. This color is not going to stay, but it's getting the shape in. Ooh, I like this for the bite shape where it's like square and then round and then square. I'm into that for the chomp. The top of the cookie nice and uneven like that. Chomp. Round, chomp, round, chomp.
do that. And then on top, let me think, nice chocolatey brown chunks. Might use the eraser to carve the sides of them out to make it, I don't know, chunky. We don't want them to all look like they're going the same direction. So I'm literally going to take a couple and rotate them. It's just how this brush is. It's weird. Like, the brush just goes in one direction. So I'm just flipping and reversing them. Just so that brush stroke isn't going the same way on all the chunks. Make this one extra big. And then use the eraser to carve out and straighten up some of these chunks just a little bit. Maybe straight on some edges and then wiggly on the others so it looks, you know, interesting. Something like that. And then you want like sea salt chunks. Let me get a visual on sea salt cookie. Like, how big are these chunks? How funky can we get with the chunks of sea salt? They're pretty big. Let's do some chunks of sea salt. We'll get a nice gray. Not that big. They're chunks like this, you know? You can see them on the cookie. And we'll lower the opacity so it's not this crazy, but just adds a little something to the cookie. And those sea salt flakes are why the cookie is like $8 or $9. You know the cookies I mean, but they're worth it. Sometimes. Okay. Alright, I'm not crazy about how bright red the plates are, so we're gonna mute them a little bit, but let's make sure that table is full opacity and we have all the other colors going on here. So we can see the full color palette. What's messing up the color palette? Oh, it's this. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna have to rethink the table, because that shadow shouldn't go all the way to the bottom there, but with these colors in mind, I like some hints of bright red, but we're going to tone it down a little bit. Maybe make it smooth. There. Just a little bit of purple in there too. Just tone it down a little bit so it's not so crazy. Okay, that's not so bad. I think the white hedgehog arms are throwing me off a little bit, so we're gonna just make them a grayish pink for right now. And maybe on the wall, this layer is nothing. Okay. We want some kind of mood lighting on that wall. There's a pendant light on the ceiling, and it's faded by the time it gets down to the bottom of the light, or the wall down here, like that. But then that can bring in... I'm just going to sketch on a new layer to get an idea. Like, some light from that pendant light would hit the hedgehog on the spikes, like here. Just the tips of the spikes coming from that away. I don't think it would get all the way to here, but maybe one more, why not? Like that, just a little something like that. A little bit would hit the edge of the wood like that. We'll change the color because I'm not sold on this like orange color just yet. Maybe we'll make it red or something, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it. And then a little bit hitting the handle of the coffee cup. But I do think it would warm up and brighten the table and make it a little more red. And then we can do some of that blue moodiness. We'll do this on a new layer so I can mess around with it. Some of this blueness will hit the edge of the coffee cup here, hit the surface of the liquid there, his face. That blue-gray, whatever, rainy. Then it can reflect off the table a little bit over there. Something to that effect. Just blend it out real quick. I'll make it better in the final art, I promise. But that's the idea anyway. We get a little rain, we get a little of the cafe mood lighting. Let's just think out how it'll affect the table here. Because I do want to make this a little bit more intensely red on the table. Where was that, where did it go? No. Drawing? What was it? Charcoals. Something called like Artist Crayon or something. Where was it? Artistic. Drawing, perhaps? Painting? I guess we could use any brush, but I kind of like that, that one I was using. Pencil. Crayon strong texture, crayon lighter, crayon gritty. I like the sound of that. Let's try that. Crayon gritty. Ooh. Maybe not that bright of a red. Here, we're gonna do a new layer because we can pull that back. But I like the idea of adding, I like that texture too, actually. I'm just gonna sprinkle some of this red in. And pull it back. Something like that. Okay, so we get a little bit more red into the scene. We get maybe a little bit more red here because we want this shadow to be like, you know, maybe the shadow can have a distinct curve to it like that. Okay, I kind of like the colors I'm working with here. Undo that though. I gotta remember this is just a layer on top and not like the layer I want to paint on in the final, but there's the handle. There's the hedgehog. And I kind of want to bring some purple into that. Because I don't want it to be too brown and monochromatic and whatever. Add a little purple in there. A little blue, perhaps. See, it still feels very like moody and brown, but there's a lot of colors going on here. Don't want his face to necessarily be that bright either. What did I do here? Why is there a little chunk of brown here? What is that? That's a problem for next stream. Pull this back a bit on the window. Maybe just lower opacity in general. There we go. A little bit higher opacity. Oh, and we have to do the steam coming off of him too. That's crucial. Now I kind of like on the coffee house bag art that or the art of the guy with the beret, how it kind of has like a sharp edge to it. Like there's a sharp edge, and then on this side of it there's like a texture. So for example, Pori Hemplo, it would be all texture on this side, but there's still that sharp edge on the left. and then erase it to soften it up. Make sure that like the left edge is sharp and then the right edge is like soft and chalky and textured. I kind of am feeling that for the steam, so I might do that. But let me figure out the placement of the steam. We want like a little one coming up here, perhaps. Want like one big one here, and then one right here. Or like that. I think that works. Just want to make sure the shapes are smooth. Like that. We want the swirls in here. Bring the swirls back in. Or should they all be going the same direction? I think they should all be going the same direction. Here, I'll just, I'll finish drawing this and then flip it. Clean up the edge a little bit. A little swirly up here. Let me flip this one, see if I like it flipped better. No, I like it the other way. Because then we get a little bit of that texture going both directions. We can always fix it later too if we don't like it, but I'm gonna go with it for now. Have this get all chunky and thick on that side. I think we'll change this color too, so it won't be stark white, but it'll be like a cream or something. But for right now, let's just get the shape of this and the texture in. And we'll erase with the chalk brush so we can keep some of that texture in there too. So it's not too solid anywhere. Like that. Clean up that edge so it's nice and crisp on the edge. I think this is kind of a fun way to take inspiration from this older aesthetic without like copying it directly. There's just some elements of it I like that I want to try to bring in. I think it's pretty cute. I think this is much more interesting than my first pass at this. A little more interesting than the solid colors I usually do. Solid color with tiny amount of texture. I mean, I'm kind of doing that, but I hope it's a little more loose and interesting than what I normally do. It feels better. So I guess that's what matters, huh? There we go. And clean up that crisp edge. I kind of want to move this one over a little bit because it feels a little too much space. Maybe higher up too. There we go. I'll have to add more spirals to the window because this is going to hide up that one that's underneath there, but that's okay. One thing I really got out of the two abstract paintings I've done is I don't get too married to anything. I'm like, I can always just change it later. Like I used to agonize over like, oh, I love that. I don't want to move it or change it. It's like, nah, you can just change it and it's probably going to be fine. Or it's probably, in all likelihood, it's probably going to be better the second, third, fourth time you do something. So don't be afraid to just paint over stuff and, you know, completely undo stuff. It's fine. It's going to end up being okay. If you have any kind of taste or vision, it's going to wind up okay in the end. Just don't worry about it. I really like the two abstract paintings I've done so far. And I haven't even finished the second one yet. I got to do that over the weekend. But I'm liking the colors, I'm liking the shapes. It's like, it's art that I would like if I saw it in a museum, which I'm very proud of. And I'm just getting started with it too, so I'm excited to see where I am in another year or two. I would love to be able to have a collection of paintings and like do a little gallery show somewhere in the city. I think that would be really cool. Even if nobody buys anything, nobody likes anything, I want a picture of me in front of my abstract paintings in a little gallery. I want that, so I'm gonna work for it and make it happen. Hello, how are we doing on this fabulous Friday? It's about the time of stream where I'm about to get off, actually, because I am getting hungry. But I'm like in the zone on this. What else can I do to fix it up a bit before I take off? Okay, the coffee cup shape is now bothering me because I've done so much other work. So let's fix this a little bit. And the color of the cup is not working for me either. So we're going to play around with that a little bit and get that looking decent before I put a stop to this for the evening and come back to it next week. I don't even know what I have to eat in the house. I'm going to have to figure something out. I will not waste my money on takeout tonight. I will not waste my money on takeout. It's like, even if you just want to get a Chipotle bowl delivered, it's like $30. Outrageous. We're not doing that. I have food. Okay. I could use a bowl of split pea soup with some crackers on the side. And so I could... You know, it's summertime, and I'm doing this, like, very fall cozy piece. It's like, I could go for a bowl of soup right now, actually. I could tear up, like, a potato soup. In all honesty, just looking at this. Even though there's no soup pictured, it's giving potato soup color scheme vibes. Let's alpha lock that. I want to mess with the color a smidge. Just play around with stuff. Like a cooler gray on the backside because it's in shadow. Maybe it's a little warmer and brighter over on that side because of that light. Then you get that window lighting over here. And the base color of it is like beige cream. So just go over the whole thing with that. Smudge this around a bit. I'm still not crazy about the cup color, but whatever, it'll come together. Just gotta keep finagling it. Ooh, I kind of like that purple as the shadow color. I don't even know if that logically makes sense, but I like how it looks. I might just put a fork in it and call it done for right now. Because I really don't want to get into a zone where I'm overworking anything before I've even really started on it. So I might just leave it here. But I like the color scheme. You can see the inspiration from the reference I pulled up on the left. You can see the vibe and where it's headed. And I do think it is much better than where it was last week. Let me pull up. This, it was just going to be like crisp, flat colors and then maybe a little texture added on top. And already, like, see the chalk steam versus the much more interesting, like, with the crisp edge. There's a little more style. There's a little more intention. I might move all these down and away from the very edge. Let me do that right now before we're gonna move this down just a hair, because I don't want it bumped up against the top too bad. There we go. I think this is coming together much more than the last one. And it's all thanks to our little friend, the Kako Mistel, who I'll just pull up his picture in a second, but leaning into doing stuff that's a little bit more loose, a little bit more inspired by painting, and not worrying so much about things being super crisp and sharp. I like where this is going so far. I would sit and have a little treat at this cafe so far. I wonder what else I could add. Maybe I'll have some leaves from a plant on the left or something. I don't know. I don't want to overwork it. But I like where it's headed. I I'm happy with it so far. And then let me pull up for anybody who's tuning in now that didn't see earlier. Here's my little friend, Macaco Mistle. I think that's how you say its name. It's an animal I had never heard of until somebody recommended I draw it last week or 2 weeks ago. So he's done. I'll put my signature on this and slap it up on my social media. If you'd like to take a look at the higher res image of him tonight, I'll do that as soon as I get off the stream and then go find something to eat. Calling it a little bit early tonight only because I'm very hungry, and I also do not want to overwork the hedgehog picture because I can feel myself wanting to do detail work on it, and it's like, nope, step back, I like where it's going, I don't want to mess with it. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all this time, this place, next week. Peace out.